again. So Lori Miller is on the counseling staff for the university. She is a retired bassoonist and also the wife of our very own bass professor. So she gets it. The reed making, the flicking, the neuroses for scales, it's not lost on her. The concept of juries, like she gets all of it. And she's a super highly trained therapist. So we're super happy to have you, Lori. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Do you get past like the nervousness of like performing?
Any other questions right now? I'm assuming that you're not the only one that has that question. I do know what it is to walk into a jury though, and I get really shaky, and I still do. And I remember walking in to do my jury, and I could actually feel like my diaphragm muscle shaking, which was undesirable. So, but that was a long time ago. Okay, so the nervousness performance. So I'll talk about that, and then I'm going to also just talk about general kind of nerves. Probably, I'm guessing many of you are probably pretty emotionally reactive right now. I'm guessing that because I'm working with a lot of students. I'm also a human being living right now as well, and it's actually pretty normal right now. So I'm just going to start because it's actually related to the fear from performing and the kind of the reactivity, emotional reactivity that most of us are experiencing right now with all this COVID stuff. So I'm going to use can y'all see my hand? It's a fist. Okay, so I'm going to use this as like a model for the brain. So here we have a brain, right? And like it actually, back here, it's actually a good model. If I had two hands right now, but I'm holding one with my phone. Like this would be the brain stem, like your arm, and the back of your brain and this is like really like the hindbrain, the cerebellum. This is where like, basically this part, our lizard brain, this is a part of our brain that we have in common with all animals that have a brain. The top would be like right here. This is the midbrain. This is where a lot of like emotional, kind of some languaging is happening here. Front of your brain, prefrontal lobe is right there. And this is like the thinking part of your brain. This is where probably like answers to exams are. This is maybe where some of your memorization, if you're walking into like a jury memorized. This is maybe even where like you got some names and things stored up here. If you've ever had the experience of walking to take a test or something and you sit down and like, it's like, you studied, but like there's no information available. You've actually felt what this is to go offline. And then, so brain, and then if we were to peel this back, clear back, it is about eye level just behind your ears. This is where your limbic system, the term fight or flight, it lives here. In fact, it lives right here and it really is about the very middle. And it is called the amygdala. It's about the size and the shape of an almond, and its only job is to keep you alive. It's to look for threats, and like it's always connecting with input coming from the environment, looking for threats. And when it finds a threat, when this part is engaged, the amygdala, this part cannot be there, incompatible with each other. It's either this one or this one. You can't be kind of in or out. This part of your brain is really good at sensing threats. And like, if you think of like a physical threat, like a dog chasing you or a car accident or like being attacked, like that'd be a physical threat. Things that would like eat you and kill you, kind of a threat, like a bear. Thankfully, we don't live in a world where there's a ton of physical threats. Mostly we live in a world that is full of emotional threats. Which means that it's something that's really scary, the fear, and as a human, we're social, like we are social creatures. We have to have social connection in order to be a healthy human being. And if we don't have it, it is, right, it's painful. So the amygdala, if you're just kind of bopping down the street, you turn around, you're going down Rexburg and you look behind you and there's like a lion all of a sudden chasing you. And you think that lion looks hungry, faster than you can blink your eyes, the amygdala is going to go online. The thinking part of your brain is offline, because this is where like all your smart stuff is. It also takes a lot of energy to run this part. And if you're about to become lunch for something else, suddenly it's not so very important what answers to tests are or what color the lion might be, right? Or like it's offline and it's going to save that energy. And actually you've even probably felt this. It's a feeling of like, it's like a whooshing kind of a feeling. In the moment and moment, really, it takes about 0.7 seconds to send a thought. It takes about 0.3 seconds for this part of the brain to come online. And I know that everyone's ever felt that. If you've ever been jump scared by like a friend or a roommate, it's that jumping, that jolty feeling. And then a second, and then just a moment later you laugh. That's actually the speed of the amygdala coming online and then being able to go back offline because, oh, actually I'm safe. And then you laugh, you relax. So, but let's say it's a lion, it's chasing you, it's not a joke. You're gonna run all the brain, all the blood that was up here, powering your brain is now in all of your long muscles, and your digestion's pretty much gonna stop. Your muscles are all gonna tense up, your pupils are gonna dilate, your skin's gonna tighten. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on that you don't even have to think about. It happens faster than you can blink your eyes. And then you're going to either outrun the lion or you're not. If you don't outrun the lion's like, thank you, you were delicious. And then it's going to go on with its life. But thankfully, we've all always outrun lions because we're all alive. Like, we're all here today. And then after you outrun the lion, you're going to have some kind of a response like this. And that's actually another reflex. It's called the baroreceptor reflex that signals to the amygdala, like, okay, go offline. We're good now. We don't need you on board anymore. We're going to go back to thinking. And it's not quite just like one deep breath that'll do ya, but it's like the process of then breathing slower, and it tells your body your brain to kind of to re-engage. Like I said, thankfully, we don't have a world where there's a ton of physical threats. Mostly we have emotional threats. The thing is, our brains are easily tricked. It's not good at telling the difference between emotional threat or physical threat. It just knows a threat is a threat is a threat. So your brain actually, like, if you feel afraid to go do a jury, like, does anybody love doing a jury? No, it's scary, right? You're actually paying somebody to give you feedback, like you're paying to get better. That's the idea, but you're getting feedback. And this is not just something that I think any of you don't care about. You probably all really care about how you play. So your brain, your amygdala, actually thinks as you're going in to get ready to perform, your amygdala is like, oh, I know what to do. We're nervous. Your brain really can't tell the difference. It just knows, oh my goodness, there's a threat. Well, I know what to do, right? This is actually not helpful at all. To have this kind of a response to outrun a bear or to lift a truck off of a toddler, right? Really helpful. But your IQ is actually lower when your amygdala is engaged because you don't have to be smart to outrun a bear. Unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, you need to be smart to be able to do a jury. So that nervousness piece, really, this is the fear center in your brain. There was a study done about 5 years ago, 5-10, that they took monkeys. Monkeys have brains that are pretty similar to ours, so they do a lot of studying that way. They took monkeys and they removed the fear center from their brain. So the monkeys literally could not feel fear anymore. Like it just didn't register. And they put these monkeys in a cage. This is all very sad, but they put these monkeys in a cage with snakes and to study what they would do. And monkeys are usually really afraid of snakes. So when you put a monkey in a cage with a snake and the monkey can't feel fear, the monkey would approach the snake, which I think probably for most of us makes sense. And then the snake would bite the monkey. And the monkey had to be saved because the monkey didn't know what to do. And then the next day they put that monkey back in, the same monkey with the same snake, and the monkey approached the snake again. And they did it until finally the realization was made, oh, if you can't feel fear, you actually can't learn. We have to have that fear center. So it's actually good when it's used for good, not for evil. So if you've ever performed, and maybe, I don't know if any of you are prone to panic attacks or have ever experienced a panic attack, many people right now who have never had a panic response are suddenly having it because we are being bathed with this threat that's coronavirus, right? And flatten the curve, all the stuff that's really scary. And it's arguably a physical threat, but it's one we've never survived before. None of you have even grandparents who would have been alive during the last pandemic. There's no shared history what to do, but your brain's like, oh, fight or flight. I know what I'm supposed to do. Fight, flight, freeze. That's what I'm supposed to do right now. But you can't really run away from it. That's what your brain wants to do, is to run away or fight it, punch it in the nose, or freeze, just hold still and hope that and then your body floods itself with all these numbing hormones and then just hold still. And that's also what depression looks like, is just being so numb, you feel nothing. You can't numb one thing and not numb everything.